Hey everybody, looks like sound is working. I'm Chris, this is Killer Arcade Games, and today I'm truly blown away by the news. First, I don't want to get too far into this until I can make sure everything's fine, make sure everyone can hear me. Got the chat over here. Looks like we already have 15 people here, which is great. John Doe's here, Cheeto Doritos here, Endangered Dog, me, Cheap. Sorry if I messed that one up. Alright, looks like things are okay because nobody's complaining yet, but okay, I'm exhausted already today. I was working earlier when the news came out, and I rushed home. I mean, thankfully, I got really lucky, and actually, one of my appointments rescheduled, so I just went early to my last one and got home quickly. Pumped the Killer Instinct video out for you guys, and now I want to talk about all the other news that came out and dive a little deeper into the Killer Instinct stuff and hear what you guys think of the new cabinets. Meech P, there we go, got the name right. Um, I want to start. I'm going to go ahead and just switch to where you can see my other screen here. Um, let's start by, I guess we'll mention the other cabinets first, since you probably already saw my other video about Killer Instinct being announced. We'll just start with the first one on here. This is X-Men 4-player cabinet, not a 6-player cabinet. I don't know. Them doing a 6-player would have been difficult anyway. I was thinking maybe a 24-inch screen like the one from the pinball machine. But then again, the games don't really stretch unless you force them to stretch. So it makes sense it's a 4-player, and it really looks good. I love that Arcade1Up is finally just really listening to people, and they're pushing hard to quit. They're no longer just making these normal looking cabinets that have that same curved look. They're finally starting to try to replicate the look of the cabinets, which is really nice. The red trim on this thing looks great. I think the riser looks great. I'm not a huge fan of the game, to be perfectly honest. I've probably played it 10 times in my whole life. But I think it looks really, really good. If you're an X-Men fan, I'd assume you're going to be happy, but you guys let me know in the comments. On this cabinet, we've got, I'm going to see, you guys can see this, okay? Try to zoom in, actually, an additional I guess an additional 2 games so far. The Captain America game and then the Avengers. I honestly can't even read that. Children of the Atom, is that maybe what that is? Can't read it, but, oh, I can look at this picture too. Still can't read it. That's fine, though. It's probably what it has. It may say down below. I really haven't even had time to look much at the other cabinets. What I did see was mainly on the 1UP Weekly stuff, and I didn't even get to really see that. I was just I had it plugged in my truck while I was driving, trying to get home, and all I could do was listen to it. So, pretty cool stuff. Looks good to me. I'm going to actually move on unless anybody has anything that really needs to be said about this one. Because I really want to get to the KI stuff. I know you guys probably know that from me. That's going to be what I want the most. Let me get rid of all these dumb downloads in the way. Let's go ahead and go back to the Dragon's Lair cabinet. This is another one that's not that big of a surprise. I actually mentioned that I thought it was going to be coming because of the Game of Thrones hint. Because I initially thought Game of Thrones pinball. Pinball probably, right? No, it's Dragon's Lair because of dragons from Game of Thrones. And John D actually talked about this one months ago. He mentioned it in a comment somewhere, like, I threw a joke out about the Laserdisc thing, and he was like, no, he knew way too much, basically. I was like, okay, John must know something that's coming. So I'm not surprised this is coming out. Once again, the cabinet looks really, really cool. I don't know how they're doing the kind of curved looking marquee, but they made it look really good, and apparently this will... I don't know if this screen's actually going to be there. I may have misunderstood when they were talking about it. It's possible that they're going... I think he said that you may put your phone up there, or there may be another screen you can put there. I can't remember, to be honest. So you have to go back and watch the 1UP Weekly from today on that one. But will I buy this cabinet? I really don't know. Dragon's Lair 2 is included, and Space Ace, which is interesting because the next cabinet we're going to talk about is Space Ace. But anyway, I think it looks really nice. I mean, you guys are probably going to be surprised. I've played this for maybe 4 minutes in my entire life. Seen it so many times. For some reason, it doesn't really draw me in, but it was probably a little before my time in the arcade. So by the time I got in arcades, I saw it, and my thinking was probably more like, it's a cartoon on a game. It's not that exciting to me. I can fully see how you guys would be loving this, though. It looks really good, too. I think they're just killing it with these announcements. So let's switch over to Space Ace. Looks like it's very similar to Dragon's Lair. And so basically it seems to be, if you don't like the Dragon's Lair art and you are a bigger fan of Space Ace, go ahead and get this one because it's the same thing, just different art kit and different focus on which game it's in there. I'm going to check in the chat really quick. It's Devils is back. Sup, guys? I'm back. John Doe only wants the KI cab. We're gonna get to it because I have a lot to say about the KI cab. Hopefully, you guys can hang out. Rikaku is here. Richie Ace. The X-Men cabinet looks fantastic. Not a huge fan of the game, but I'm sure fans will love it. I thought I was gonna have your chat up on the screen, guys. I don't know what went wrong there, but we'll worry about that another time. FYI, they said the Space Ace cabinet will happen based on community feedback. Thank you, Cheeto Dorito. So, if you're a huge Space Ace fan, you need to let them know that you want this cabinet because it may not happen. I'm going to skip over my precious, my Killer Instinct, and we'll get back to it in just a second. I'm mainly doing this part of it. If you're watching this later and you check my channel for Arcade1Up News, this way you can at least get a quick overview of everything. I missed a lot of this information, the Atari Legacy stuff, in the stream. It sounds like these are going to be more budget cabinets, about, I think they said trying to get around the $299 price point. I could be wrong on that, but it's going to have a decent amount of games in it. Let's see if it says down here really quick. Oh, there's a lot of pictures. Okay, so let's just go back to this really fast and see. Again, the cabinet shape's pretty interesting. I guess that's what a Tempest cab looked like. Maybe I've never seen one of those in person. These games are way before my time. You know, I probably didn't enter arcades till like 92 was probably the earliest I really got into them and really paid attention in them. I did hear the spinner is upgraded. No more clicky, annoying spinner. So that's going to be nice. Once again, I'm not seeing anything about the games list. Let's see if it says it down here. Okay. Let's zoom in. We have Asteroid, Centipede, Major Havoc, Missile Command, which would explain one of the hints given by John D. I heard them trying to pronounce this on the 1UP Weekly. I don't know. I probably just made noises right there. Crystal Galaxies, Tempest, Millipede, Gravitar, Liberator, Asteroids Deluxe, and Space Duel, all included. So you get a decent amount of games in this cabinet. There's actually a video on it, but I don't know if I have the sound set up, so I'm not going to play it right now. But very interesting. If you're from this time, you're going to love this cabinet, I'm sure. And I could not believe when he dropped the Pac-Man hint, John D, on the Facebook groups, I thought he had to be joking. How are they releasing another Pac-Man cabinet? It doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. I'm sure people love it. Looks really good in this picture, too. That's fine. There's a lot of Pac-Man cabinets out there. I truly can't even keep up anymore. Please excuse me sniffling, by the way. The snow that we got in Texas yesterday brought in something that has been making me sneeze like crazy. So hopefully I'm not sneezing on this stream. Let's see what's in this cabinet. Once again, this is part of the, what are they calling it? Arcade1Up, oh god, I've already lost it. Legends or something? Let's see, we've got Pac-Man, Pac-Land, Pac-Man Plus, Super Pac-Man, Pac-and-Pal, Pac-Mania, Galaxian, Galaga, Dig Dug 2, Mappy, and Rompers, all included. That is really cool. Oh, it's the Legacy Edition, that's right. So I think, I'm actually really impressed with it. I think they did a good job. I won't buy it, but, you know, that's just because I'm not really into those games. Street Fighter 2. This is another Street Fighter 2 issue. I don't believe it has online play, but they did talk about it possibly coming in the future. Not so much for this cabinet, though. So maybe they're just going to release a third Street Fighter cabinet. This one looks actually more like what I actually saw in the arcades as a kid. I never really saw too much of the other one. Actually, that's what my Killer Instinct used to be. It is on screen, right? Yes, over here. The Killer Instinct used to be an Arcade1Up Street Fighter. I swapped it out in 2018 for a Killer Instinct. It's a whole story. Maybe we'll get to that a little bit down the stream here. We're almost done with the new ones. The deck still looks the same, but I really do like the new art around the bezel. Now, excuse me, the recessed marquee, that's turning me off a little bit. It looks a little odd right there. I don't know if I like that, but maybe that's just temporary. Interesting shape. I realize now it's kind of similar to what the new Killer Instinct is going to look like. Alright, but this one's going to have... Is this also considered a legacy cabinet? I don't know. Interesting choice of games in here. It's kind of like you're getting a lot for a little bit of money in this case. You get Street Fighter 2... Oh, the original Street Fighter. I'm sorry. Interesting. Street Fighter 2 World Warrior. Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Super Street Fighter 2 The New Challengers. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, lots of Street Fighter 2 in this one. Darkstalkers, Strider, Commando, Final Fight, which is interesting because that was another cabinet all on its own. Ghosts and Goblins in 1944. So you get a lot of games once again for, probably a decent price. So this is interesting. They're going back now and kind of taking cabinets and putting them all together and then re-releasing them. Let me check one more time on the chat. Of course, things are moving quickly. Let's see. John Doe, these new cabs make our current cabs look cheap. I started thinking that, especially with the new shape. I'm a little concerned that I'm going to want to redo all these cabinets back here, but I can't even entertain that idea right now. Is my microphone too low, guys? I'm seeing the numbers, or the lines aren't looking very good. I'll turn it up a little bit. Okay. Now I lost where I was, but might make it hard to do. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Cheeto Dorito. Earlier I talked about the 4-player X-Men versus the 6-player. I think you're right. Even if they widen the cabinet a little bit, 6 players would be probably impossible. 4 players is already difficult if they're adults. All right, I'm just going to try to quickly look through. Kevin Leonard, what's up, Chris? Have you talked to the developers about the KI cabinet? Can you ask him to have crossplay with Xbox Live and possibly add achievements? I can definitely mention that one step at a time, though. I'm a little concerned. I haven't even heard back yet. It's a busy day, though, so I'm not going to worry about it. We'll get to that all in just one second, too. Let me keep moving forward. The last one I want to talk about before Killer Instinct is the Pong 4-player pub table. I didn't get to hear much about this one. I actually think this looks pretty cool. This would be great for your bar, your home bar, if you have one. This guy looks thrilled to be standing next to it, if he's really there. Try to zoom in on this. I've never heard of a 4-player Pong, but it sounds quite interesting. It's probably the most exciting way to play Pong, unless you're somehow a diehard Pong fan. I just don't know how you play that game for more than twice, 3 times, personally, for me, but there are other games in the cabinet. We have Pong, Pong Doubles, Quadra Pong, so I assume that's where the 4-player comes in. Warlords, it looks like. Pong Sports, Circus Atari, Super Breakout, and Tempest. Boy, Tempest is really popping up on a lot of cabinets now. But I think it looks really cool. I mean, I know they were talking about waterproof, and I assume they're saying don't spill, set a drink down on top. It's perfect for doing that. Hopefully you don't spill anything on it. No prices as far as I know. This does say purchase from partners. Let me see if anything actually shows up on Best Buy's website really quick. No price yet. Oh, $5.49. Interesting. Okay. Let me close that for now. Now let's get to the main event, in my opinion. We're going to talk about Killer Instinct. AI. Yes, Killer freaking Instinct has been announced officially, finally. Let's go ahead and click this. This is the only picture I have of it. There's no other ones down here. That's why when I made my video earlier, you pretty much just looked at the same picture over and over. Okay. I have some notes about Killer Instinct. Let me pull those up really quick. So, first off, if you're just finding out about this being released, Killer Instinct is very difficult to emulate, so I always said early on there's no way they're going to release Killer Instinct because they just didn't have the power. This was back when they were barely running like Street Fighter 2. I knew that it needed... I knew Raspberry Pis, even current Raspberry Pis, struggle to run it, unless you overclock them and all that, but I don't think they're going to want to push hardware too hard, putting them in these cabinets, because if they overheat, they're no good. The game's just going to be restarting all the time. They're going to be having a lot of problems with customer service stuff, so why would they bother with that? One of the things that stands out immediately to me is the fact, look at the shape of this cabinet. No more curve there. It's got kind of that classic Midway shape, which is something that I'm so happy to see, because the original Midway cabinets stick out to me. Like, they're permanently in my memory. I love those cabinets. They're huge, they're heavy, but that's just what I always wanted to own as a kid. The idea, I remember, I think I watched Richie Rich, the movie, and he had arcade games in his house, and I was just like, good lord, if I could be rich and have arcade games in my house, that would be insane. So when Arcade1Up came around, I wasn't that picky when it had the curved design around the side of the cabinet. I knew that I was lucky enough to get a cabinet that I could pretty much pick up on my own if needed, and it fits in the house. And now, I mean, I have, 5 in this room alone. You can't see all 5. 1 downstairs, whereas I can't even fit a real Killer Instinct in this room. It wouldn't fit through the doorway. So I was very happy to get this, and very happy to make Arcade1Up almost like a platform for me to just design all my dream cabinets I've always wanted that they may not be able to make. Now, I changed course on my Killer Instinct Isn't Possible about, a couple months ago. I made a video once I realized that they were working with Code Mystics on the Star Wars cabinet, I saw that logo and I knew right away, like, oh, this could mean Killer Instinct could be coming. Why does that mean anything? If you don't know, Killer Instinct Classic 1 and 2 are available on Xbox One. They're only really available, I believe, as an add-on to the Killer Instinct 2013 release. And truthfully, I bought the game just for those. Those are great games, and I wanted to have them in some way to play online. And Code Mystics did all the emulation for it. They did a really good job on it. There's still a few emulation tweaks that need to be done. I'd say a few, but more like one that I can think of off the top of my head. I've already sent John D a message telling him about it and see if maybe they can fix it for the arcade release. I'll get to it in just a second, what that is. Well, forget it. When the game is over and you don't get a supreme victory or an awesome victory where it plays the cutscene after the fight, it just says winner at the top, the screen goes dark, a little darkened, and it plays that low, like, Killer Instinct long strings note. And the problem is with the Xbox One version, occasionally that note lingers over the character select screen where the tree starts coming down, it shows you your next fighter, and you still hear that tone playing underneath, which is not supposed to happen. It does not happen on the arcade, it does not happen on MAME. So I just told them if they could maybe fix that, that would be a huge tweak, but who knows. This is an issue that I say plagued, but it bothered me as a Killer Instinct purist, that I noticed it on the U64 emulator. It used to always do that. I don't know if it still does, but as far as I know, Code Mystics created their own emulator for Killer Instinct. I think it's the Focal emulator, Focal, and I don't know. It seems to work pretty well. I've noticed a few times the cutscenes run a little too fast, but let's not get too picky. It's Killer Instinct, and hopefully it's going to be working well on lower-end hardware. Sorry I'm having trouble keeping up with the chat here, but I will get back to it in just a second. Hey, Dreamcast Kyle, we need the slant. Good point. So as of now, it looks like the monitor, I'm going to zoom in on it really quick. The monitor is slanted a little bit, but it looks almost more like the original monitor slant, which is not much at all. It would be cool if they'd tilt it back just a little bit more. It looks like they have room in the cabinet. I'd say the monitor currently goes to about right here and comes down to this part. I know you can see my mouse moving. If it tilts back a little bit farther, I think it'd be more realistic, but maybe there's a viewing angle issue with those monitors. I have noticed when I squat down to, work on something low on the cabinet and I look up, you don't get as good of a view of the screen. So maybe there's something with that. Another problem I have, and I've already told John D about this, I'm sure he's probably been told before, and maybe they know this, and maybe it's just an artist rendering. The joysticks are black. They're supposed to be blue. As you can probably see behind me right here, these are blue joysticks. Mine are HAP joysticks, which I highly doubt we're going to see in this cabinet. I hope they do upgrade them just a little bit, maybe a little higher quality, but it's okay if they don't. You can always do it later. You can do little tweaks to the current ones with heavier springs. I would love to get my hands on this cabinet early and help them test it, but we'll get to that too down the line in the stream here. I'm anxious to see what mods can be done to this without changing out the actual Arcade1Up hardware, because this one has online play, and I want to be able to play online with you guys. I want to be able to do live streams where we just play with each other. I mean, we already talked about doing this on the Xbox One, but I haven't done it yet because it's just not that perfect yet. A lot of people don't have the Xbox One version, and I just decided now that this news has come out, we may as well wait, play together on the cabinets, which will be awesome. Hey, Luis, I'll be looking for your message. All right, where am I at? I'm trying to keep up with the chat, but man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to miss all kinds of stuff. Michael Sanchez, SNES version possible. No, probably not. The biggest problem is it doesn't say anywhere on this cabinet, but Microsoft now owns the Killer Instinct name because they bought Rare and they bought the IP, and there's just no way they're going to get the SNES version, which is fine with me personally because I don't want console versions on my cabinets, and although I can see why you would, now that I think about it. I can see why you would like that, but it's just not going to happen because Nintendo doesn't play with other people very nice and all that. Doplex, I'd like to hope they saw my custom Rare logo riser. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so down here on the riser, there is a kind of an unusual looking Rare logo. Now that I look at it, I'm wondering if it's supposed to light up. They didn't say anything about it in the stream today. The only thing that said that would light up was the marquee, but who knows? Maybe it's not, as you can see here, design not final, which is good because they do want feedback from us. And I guess I'll just go ahead and dive right into this now. I consider I don't like to let's see, what is the word? I don't like to blow smoke up my own butt here, but I consider myself to be a very reputable source on Killer Instinct. I have been studying this game for years. A lot of you guys know me from the channel, but I used to run KillerInstinctOnline.net. It was the Killer Instinct fan site from about 2006 to 2020. Especially during the probably 2006 to 2014 days, it was huge. We had 30,000 members or more, and people all over the world came together to talk about this game. Truthfully, when I started it, I didn't even know what I was doing. I'd never made a forum before, but I put all this together, and it was kind of like, if you build it, they will come. People came from all over the world, literally. I had some amazing members that would find ways to dig into the hard drive files, and I still say to this day, that's why you can go download the announcer voices just clean, where you don't have music behind them. Emmy Glacius was a guy on my site. He sent me those files. I don't know if he got them himself. His English was not very good. He was from Mexico, and we just did a little bit of communication. And anyhow, so from the moment I dropped a quarter in this in 1994, I was hooked right away. So once I got a little bit older and kind of was like, man, what happened to Killer Instinct? I can't find anything on the internet. There was a dead fan site that was like, kind of nobody was around anymore. So I started my own. I started hosting the emulation files. Hopefully I can say that now and not get in any trouble. Made it easy for people to play the game, and boy, did the community pop back up. So much so that when Microsoft was looking to make the new Killer Instinct game, they actually used my website to get hard to reach or hard to get assets from the game. You know, things like, sure, they bought the IP, but there may not be any information. The original code for the original Killer Instinct games are gone, from what I've heard. You can't just grab them, and they couldn't just port it over to another set of hardware. It has to be emulated because the original is gone unless you rebuild the entire game. So they probably came to my site to look for things like, hey, we can get ideas of what people like. So that was extremely flattering to me at the time. I couldn't believe that. I actually got to talk with Mick Gordon, which is the guy who made the music for the new KI. And, you know, we've met in person. We had dinner and all that. He's a great guy. And so it was awesome to hear that Microsoft noticed that I was doing things, you know, in the KI community and all that. Now, what does that mean for me? I didn't get anything out of it. I didn't get a thank you. I didn't get really anything other than knowing that they used it. But I thought that was pretty cool to be helpful in the making of a new Killer Instinct game, because it's something we all wanted for a very long time. But anyway, so when I've wanted a Killer Instinct arcade cabinet for so long, from the time I was a little kid. So I looked. When they were cheap, in the early 2000s, they were so cheap. You could buy one for like $600 on Craigslist, and it was no big deal. But now that I have a house, at that time I had an apartment. What was I going to do? Take it upstairs and put it in my apartment? It didn't make any sense. Now that I have a house, which still doesn't quite have enough room for a real arcade cabinet, at least not upstairs, they're very expensive. I mean, you could easily pay $2,000 to find one in decent shape, or maybe $1,200 and it'll be kind of beat up and you'll have to do some work to it. So when I heard Arcade1Up was coming, I had heard about it on a podcast, like 3/4 scale arcade cabinets. I said, what am I going to do with that? I looked at them and thought, okay, I don't care that much about Street Fighter. Please don't thumbs down me too badly. I don't care that much about Street Fighter, and but I knew it had the button layout I needed, and I started looking like, okay, maybe I could buy this cabinet. And at that time, there were no art kits online, at least not for Killer Instinct anywhere. I was even looking on eBay to buy a conversion art kit from where you buy, you know, you say you change your real arcade cabinet to Killer Instinct, you want to get that rectangular shaped KI art and stick it on the side. I thought maybe I can cut around the edges and just stick it on. It may look janky, but at least I have a Killer Instinct. So I started buying it. The only, as far as I know, the only Arcade1Up modding tutorial was ETA Prime at the time. He was saying to use a Raspberry Pi. I knew that wouldn't work. So I just said, I know how to work with MAME. I can make a front end work, and I just threw it all in a cabinet, put hap sticks in, and realized quickly, oh god, you have to cut part of the hap mount off. It was a whole thing. I was like a learning experience all the way through. So once I did all that, I got everything running. It still looked like a Street Fighter cabinet, and I just said, I gotta show everybody. So I just took a quick video of it, uploaded it to what at that time was a brand new YouTube account. I just didn't know what to call it. I called it Modding Arcade1Up, uploaded it, and the video took off. I had no idea people would care that much. This was late 2018, I think October. And from there, I just decided I'm going to keep going. And I found KI Art, Escape Pod Online, finally made KI Art almost right after that. I put the KI Art on there, and all of a sudden I had one of the only two Killer Instinct Arcade1Up cabinets. So I'm just trying to tell you all this for a little backstory. I'm a huge KI fan. I've been pushing hard for Killer Instinct. I didn't push Arcade1Up to make it because I knew what they were up against, but I've helped many people, including, by the way, thank you so much for the super chat, Doplex. I believe that's you. I think you making the original KI modded cab inspired enough people to make their own cab to where Arcade1Up took notice. I wonder what the chances of a House of the Dead cab are now. So, Doplex actually made an Killer Instinct Arcade1Up using my video. Many of you guys have, which has been amazing. I've seen a lot of them. I made a whole hour-long tutorial. I believe it's in the description if you want to check it out. But it's not just for KI, it's just in general modding with a PC. But that was really cool that so many of you guys made one after that. So I'm hoping, here's what I'm hoping. John D said he wants to have some people, fans, beta test the game, test the online stuff. So I would love it if they would potentially send me one so I could help them maybe work out any bugs in it, help them with the online stuff. I would love to be able to review it early for you guys so you guys know what you're getting into. I feel like I know this game inside and out better than anyone. I'm going to go ahead and just say it. Better than anyone, at least in the Arcade1Up community. I'm sure there's hardcore arcade nerds out there who know a little bit more than I do, but I know its emulation quirks. I know what versions of MAME work better for it. I know what's wrong with the Xbox One versions that they can maybe fix for the new one. And I just would love to be able to tell them this stuff. So what I'm hoping you guys can do for me and help me out here is I've reached out to John D. I don't know if I'll get a reply, but if you can, I don't want you guys to bug them, of course, but if you can, just let them know that you want me to review or help with the process of this Killer Instinct cabinet, especially if you know my channel and you know the love I have for this game. Please consider doing that for me, just because they're going to listen to you guys way more than me asking them, hey, can I get a cabinet, or can I help you guys? They're going to be like, okay, you're one of many, but it's going to help a lot more if you guys, the fans of Killer Instinct, of Arcade1Up, and of my channel, let them know that you want me to tell you guys whether it's good or not. So I would really appreciate that. Once again, I'm not asking you guys to go off and spam John D or anything, but, you know, just to make them aware, because I kind of feel like I got lost in the shuffle sometimes. I don't always get any recognition on there. So I'm going to try to slow down here and check some of the chat. By the way, I didn't mention one thing in this yet. There is going to be a coin door on here, KI2 and Battletoads. I don't think Double Dragon's actually on there officially. That was a mistake, apparently. But by the way, Doplex, chances of a House of the Dead. Maybe House of the Dead 1. I don't know. The newer hardware is opening up a lot of things. That's another thing I do want to mention quickly. Big Buck Hunter. When I saw that game came out, I noticed it looked like it had much better, I guess, graphics than most games, and I was thinking, how are they emulating this? Well, of course, the new Outrun board has a fan on it with a heat sink, so meaning it's definitely pulling some power, and it's very interesting that came out, and the Buck Hunter did too. And Buck Hunter runs at 60 frames a second, meaning they're pushing a lot of graphical power. According to Justin at Console Kits, once they got that new hardware, they realized, hey, we can run a lot more games, and Killer Instinct was apparently born of that. So that's really cool. Alright, okay, you guys can still see this. Yeah, I'm just going to leave Killer Instinct on the screen while we talk about some stuff. And if I missed your question, please just resubmit it. I'll try to catch it. John Doe's ready to buy. Timeout Humanity, when will these new waves of cabs be released? I don't know. I don't remember if they said anything about that. I have clicked this notify me here just in case, but I genuinely don't know. I would assume the fact that there's only one picture of Killer Instinct and they're still asking for design input, I would imagine it's going to be later this year. Excuse me, for Killer Instinct at least. Alright. Dreamcast Kyle. Yeah, I hope they put some thought into the audio. Okay, very good point, Dreamcast Kyle. I said this in my Killer Instinct video, but Killer Instinct has amazing sound. I have a subwoofer in this cabinet because I just want to feel that punch through the cabinet. And you can truly feel it, because I remember on the real arcade, my arcade pumped the volume way up, and even though it just had the two speakers up top, you could feel everything through the actual controls, and that's what I want to feel on this one. Now, I am well aware this is probably going to be a $550 cabinet, which is a good price, but you're getting a lot for it. and they have to cut some corners somewhere. I just hope that the speakers are decent size and quality. They're supposedly going to be stereo, and they're going to be overhead, which is going to sound a lot better than coming up at you from the deck. Being overhead, there's going to be the cabinet to reverberate the sound through, so you might actually feel some of the hits through the cabinet, and it may give a better bass sound, I think, if it's going through the cabinet also. Let's see. Oh, Nope or Dope Reviews. I hate the game names in front, especially the Battletoads. I agree, but, I mean, I don't know. I don't mind them that much. At least they put the coin door there now, and there's not a gigantic Killer Instinct 2, and Battletoads all over the front. I don't mind those two at the bottom that much. And, I mean, I already have a Killer Instinct cabinet. I love it a lot. In a way, it's going to be better. I don't even want to say that right out the gate without trying it. But the MAME version is going to be better because you're not going to lose that amazing coming to your home in 1995 only on Nintendo Ultra 64. And that's going to be gone. The Nintendo logo where the you fly through the E on the logo is going to have to be gone just because it's Nintendo. And that's just how it was in the Xbox version. So the attract mode loses something for sure. I don't knock Arcade1Up for that. There's nothing they could do about that unless they want to beg Nintendo somehow and have Microsoft agree to have Nintendo's name on their product. It's a licensing mess. And if Nintendo still owned it, you probably wouldn't have a Killer Instinct coming out. Hey, Killer Weed. Oh, hold on. I was trying to read one and the chat moved. And I've lost it. Okay. Richie Ace. Yeah, Chris, reach out to Retro Ralph also to see. Yeah, Ralph commented on my video and he says I should be involved in this process. So if I have to, I'll message Ralph. I hate to bug Ralph. I don't want to be like, hey, Ralph, hook me up with, John D. But if I have to, I'll be like, I'll go to Ralph on my knees and say, Ralph, can you please help a little YouTuber like myself out? Because I truly just want to help them make this a better cabinet. I don't care if I have to buy my own cabinet. Even if I would like to be able to buy one and get it early if I have to, that would be great because I'd love to show you guys ahead of time. And if I'm buying a second Killer Instinct cabinet, I'd like to have it early so I can hopefully offset some of the cost by putting a video out on YouTube and making a little bit of money off of it. Let's see. Ooh, wait. I'm trying not to miss stuff. I usually, on a normal live stream, I will try and read everyone's stuff on the chat, but I just can't today, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Dwayne says they did not give any specific dates. Okay. Doplex thinks Killer Instinct really opens the door to endless possibilities for future cabinets. That is kind of true. It's going to be hard to see, but right back here is my NFL Blitz cabinet. It's running on the same PC as the Killer Instinct is, but I will say the Blitz cabinet still needs way more power. I mean, I'm pushing that Core i5 4570 to its max. It's a 3.2 gigahertz processor, and I know Blitz, if you're running Blitz 2000 with a lot of fog on and a lot of, I guess, snow or mud on the field, you're going to notice some sound pops and, issues there, but no stuttering. It just struggles a little bit. So maybe in the next wave of hardware, it may be able to run Blitz, which could be really interesting. Now, Blitz, I still say will be tough to come out just because of the violence in it and the NFL wanting to avoid controversy right now, I'm sure. All right. Linux Lover. Ralph commented something about that, so I'll probably let John D know. I hope so. I don't know Ralph that well. I mean, I'm not the most outgoing guy. It's not like I don't reach out to these guys because, it's mainly because I feel like, I don't want to bother them. They're doing their thing. I should probably be more outgoing, but I've always been kind of a shy, keep to myself kind of guy, so I always feel weird reaching out to people and stuff, so I need to do it more often. Maybe do that. That's usually why I don't really have anyone come on the channel as a guest, just because I just feel, I don't know, I feel weird about it. I'm not that outgoing, and I need to be is the problem. Let's see. KI will offer online play, but not some of the other titles. Yep, that's true. Can't be $500, has to be $299 or $399. John Doe, I don't know, man. It's going to have the light-up marquee and the riser included. I would expect at least $500 for this cabinet. The online play, that's going to cost them money down the line. So, I don't know. I don't know what kind of server situation it is. I don't know if these are going to run on Xbox Live, which would be really nice because, Arcade1Up's new to making online gameplay. If they could make a deal with Microsoft and say we're going to borrow Xbox Live servers, I think that would be wise if Microsoft's willing to do it because they have a huge infrastructure already Microsoft has servers all over the country and the world. I think that would be wise because they're going to get better coverage. But again, I don't know how it's working. Speaking of being more outgoing, I feel like I really want to reach out to somebody on Code Mystics and see if they'll talk to me about how they're doing this. I would love to hear. I mean, I could nerd out probably for an hour about like how'd you guys get this emulation to work. I don't. That's one thing I don't get. I'm good with working with emulators, with telling you guys how to set up MAME and all that, but I just don't. I never understand how somebody is smart enough to say, I'm gonna make this play at this point. Like you can custom run the FMVs on the Xbox version. Like how do they even do that stuff? They're way smarter than I am when it comes to that, though. Brendan, I wonder why they chose Battletoads. Same era. Yeah, well, it was a huge, rare game at the time. It's a game that a lot of people love, but it doesn't get a lot of mainstream talk. Excuse me. I don't understand why that is. I never played the game much, but I think it's a pretty good game from what I've heard. I should probably put it, now that I know it's coming, I should put it on the Killer Instinct cabinet. Maybe I'll do that, too. All right. Riley's late. It's all right, Riley. You're here for like every stream I ever do. I appreciate that, Riley. Let's see. $500 brings stools, I noticed, and I don't want stools. Well, I don't think we're going to get a stool with this. All right. I'm sorry. I'm reading the chat here. Soundwave. I'd rather pay more money if it means good speakers, sticks, and buttons. That's true. I think you'd have to pay... I'm just assuming if they were going to put buttons and sticks in here, which I wouldn't hold your breath, but I would assume you're going to pay an additional $50 minimum for that, and I'm fine with that. But they're trying to hit a price point that's going to move a lot of cabinets, and I'm sure we're probably going to end up with something like a Sanwa clone, or maybe hopefully nothing that was in the original Street Fighter cabinets, because I didn't like those. I'll be honest, I didn't care for those. I think whatever they put in it has to be able to make sure you can pull off combos. That's going to be the important thing, and I can't wait to test that for them, if they'll let me. But by that point, it may be too late anyway, because if I'm getting a cabinet that's already in production, we may find out that, yeah, you can kind of pull off a combo here and there, but it's extremely important to have good controls. So if I end up not liking the controls, which, if I know me, even if they're great controls, if they're not HAP, I'm not going to ultimately love them. So you can probably bet I'm going to be making a video on how to switch them to HAP controls without changing out the Arcade1Up hardware. I'm going to try to get that done in some way, I'm sure. Alright. Trying to find some more. Is the logo light up? Cargo Bay. I don't know if you mean the marquee up here. The marquee will be lit up. I am wondering about this, though. This almost looks like, and again, this is just a mock-up, but it almost looks like glass with a Rare logo under it. And I've never seen a Rare logo that dark, although I do kind of like it. It's kind of subtle. But it'd be kind of cool if it lit up with a Rare, like that yellow Rare or gold Rare logo. That would be pretty cool. Killer Weed, you're in Australia, so no KI for me. I don't understand why this is a problem. I bumped the camera. I'm assuming this is because of a licensing issue, and maybe they're just not working in those areas, and who knows, there could be export issues. Someone in the UK commented earlier about how they hope they can get one. I feel so bad for you guys because I don't know why they can't get them out to everybody. I'm sure they want to. Of course they want to. They want to make a ton of money, but something's got to be stopping it, and I feel so bad for you guys because I want you guys to be able to enjoy this game. I mean, this hobby in general has been a ton of fun to me. I love coming in here and tinkering. Like the other day I changed out button colors on my Carnival build, which is this way that you can't see currently. But I was like, you know what, I went to Tornado Terry's, played some games. I said, let me get a couple different hat button colors, and I came in and just spent 30 minutes installing new buttons, and it was fun. I mean, even if nothing's wrong with it, I kind of like to tinker with them every now and then. Let's see, what else? I guess what I'll do now is, it's the last few minutes. I was only going to do this for about 45 minutes to an hour, so if you have any questions, please throw them in the chat. I would love to answer them. This is like my specialty. Killer Instinct is truly my specialty. I can answer almost any question. I mean, maybe not so much about the Arcade1Up cabinet coming. Hopefully I'll be able to answer a lot of those for you in the near future, though. Let me see. Michael Sanchez, KI2 is what you should pay attention to. KI can be emulated with MAME 2003 Plus on an Android phone. But okay, KI2 is difficult. Okay. Very good point, Michael. I forgot about this earlier when I was talking about it. I see some more questions coming in, so I want to try to mark those. Ki2 definitely takes a little more power to emulate. It's no problem on my PC. It is no difference. Essentially, it just runs fine. But you're right. It does take a little more power. And someone, Daniel, I actually talked to him on the phone earlier. He was all excited. He's not really in the Arcade1Up world anymore, but I sent him the picture, and we both thought long ago this would never happen. He's actually the one who built and sold me this Mortal Kombat 4 with the arcade board inside. He had a good point. He said, remember when Mortal Kombat 2 came out, or the Mortal Kombat cabinet, it was really pixelated and people were upset? What if that happens with KI? We don't know. It could happen. But I hope this new hardware is powerful enough to at least run... it must be, I would assume, because they wouldn't be saying, we're going to make this thing if there's going to be problems with it. I can't say for sure about the resolution, but I would assume there's not going to be any audio skipping because no consumer is going to want to see that. Most consumers of Arcade1Up products, they don't know, from what I found, they don't understand emulation and they don't know what it takes to emulate these old games. So they may not really have any idea. You know, if it starts skipping, they're going to contact Arcade1Up and say, something's wrong with my game, it's skipping. So I think they're going to get that worked out. Resolution is another question. I don't want to see it all pixelated. I know they talked about maybe adding scan lines, which I think would look really, really cool. But again, you add scan lines, you're creating more and more processing power needed to make the game run smoothly. So who knows? We'll see. I hope it runs smoothly, though. I did see a question. Where'd it go? Okay. Tony G, did you see that the cabinet design should be slanted for monitor like the original? John D teased that. I did not see that part, but I hope they slanted a little bit more because it does need that. Doplex, do you think they'd be able to do a bigger screen? I think they're kind of stuck in their ways with the 17-inch, and that's fine. I still think the 17's okay for me, although it is an awful lot of bezel around there. I was noticing that recently, but I think what it must be is they're getting those 17-inch monitors at a really cheap price from China because China's probably producing that size specifically in large numbers. I don't know when or why China has not stepped up and said, hey, real arcade owners, I know you don't love these LCD monitors, but the CRTs are dying every day and they're not making any more of them. So eventually someone's going to have to make... I mean, nobody wants to put a widescreen in their real Killer Instinct cabinet. So eventually someone's going to have to make like a 25-inch 4x3 cabinet to replace all these monitors. Wells Gardner did it temporarily before. I think I don't know if they're under or if they just stopped making them. But someone's going to have to do it, and this is going to be the time where we can actually say China to the rescue. Because I don't no political nonsense here, but I know a lot of people don't like China, but China can really help us out here. So for the arcade world, I hope China comes and saves the day with that. Cargo Bay, you recently bought the soundtrack on vinyl. I wasn't into vinyl. I didn't understand. I was like, why are people buying these old things? Anyway, I'm so mad. I missed it. They made 3 different ones with very creepy art on the cover. It was very odd. It kind of turned me off. I wish I had bought them all now because they're worth a decent amount of money. But maybe I'll have them one of these days. Mastermind, is the coin box a sticker or what? It's supposedly a plastic add-on. I think so. It's going to be kind of like the pinball. I think it's going to sit on top of the... I don't know if it's glued on. I don't know if it's in the wood or what. But that's what they're saying is it's going to be more like the... I guess the pinball one is what it looks like. We don't know if these are going to actually light up or not. John D could not answer that. He said, ooh, I don't know that. I even see a little fake keyhole, which it would almost be cool if that was a real keyhole and like you could, maybe it was a fake key where you can just stick it in and turn it and it would open. You could like store maybe like a Killer Instinct guide inside, like a little box. That would be kind of funny, but I don't know that they're going to do that. Doplex, you have the full gore one. Man, I'm jealous. I really messed up on that. I do have the Killer Instinct book. It's down here somewhere. I'll never get to it on stream. I did a giveaway of those. That was one of the cool things I got to do when I ran the Killer Instinct fan site. I got the publisher of the book to actually send me 5 books to give away. And I thought that was really cool. I did have an idea, and I'm not going to commit to this at all right now, but depending on the stock when these things come out, if I'm doing well enough at the time, I might actually do a giveaway where I buy a Killer Instinct cabinet and send it to somebody's house. But we'll get into details on that later. It may not happen, so don't get too excited yet. And of course, if I did that, it would have to be in the lower 48. I couldn't ship it out of the country, even though I'd love to help out our foreign friends, but I'm sure there's a reason they don't ship out of the country. Where am I at? Oh, good question. Red Sea Gaming. What will you do with your modded KI when you get a KI Arcade1Up? Great question. I'm keeping the cabinet as of now, especially because For one, it holds like nostalgia value to me. This was my first mod. This is what started the channel. Again, I didn't set out to start a channel. I just put this up and people went crazy for it, and I had like 100 subscribers almost immediately. And from there, it just really kept going. So I just kept doing it. And I actually was just about to redo all the art, get a new marquee on it, and I don't think I'm going to do that now. I'm going to wait it out because what I might end up doing is just maybe working with a new Arcade1Up Killer Instinct. So who knows? At the very least, I'm keeping it for a while. If I decide to get rid of it, which I don't know that I will because I'm really low on space, I don't know where I'm going to put another Killer Instinct in the house. I'll figure it out when the time comes. I have to buy this cabinet. It has online play. I can play with you guys. I've always said if they made one, I'd buy it. And I'm going to buy it, or whether they send me one, whatever it may be. So I'll keep it for now. We'll see what happens. Maybe people always want to buy my arcade cabinets, and maybe if I ever sell it, maybe I'll sell it on the channel. Who knows? Maybe I'll turn it into a KI2. You never know. Any more questions for me before I wrap this one up? Okay, I'm trying to find... Hey, Brendan, there. Thank you for that $10 super chat. Here's a little bit to do the giveaway. Well, thank you. I wish it was legal to do a raffle-style giveaway, but I don't think that's legal, and I don't want to even get into asking people for money. But, I don't know. I think, especially if Arcade1Up sends me a Killer Instinct and I have extra money, you know, it may be fun to do a big giveaway where it's like, subscribe to the channel and share this and all that, and maybe, you know, maybe we'll give away a cabinet. You never know. Thank you very much, Brendan. Okay, I don't... Oh, wait. Okay, Jeff, I just answered that one. Am I going to keep my Killer Instinct cabinet? Still looking for question marks on here really quick. All right. Tony G, you rock. Thanks for everything. Thank you, Tony G. You rock. So yeah, if you guys don't mind, if you're ever on the Facebook fan page for Arcade1Up and a Killer Instinct comes up, let them know you want me to review it because it would really help me out. And if you want this thing to be as good as possible, let them know that I can... I would love to be a part of the process and give them advice and hopefully make this thing as accurate as possible. Freyhim, hey Cag, how are you? I'm actually quite exhausted right now. It's been a heck of a day. I was working when the news came out. This always happens. Good news comes out about Killer Instinct. This happened when they announced the 2013 Killer Instinct. I was out working and I freaked out in my work truck. I was like, oh God, I gotta get home. And of course, I missed most of the excitement at the time, but I was out working. The news came out, and I said, I gotta get home. Got home, made a video. I've been just running ever since, trying to get stuff done, and I'm really excited, though. This is very big news, and I wish I knew... You know, I've been off for, like, almost off and on for probably 2 weeks. Basically no work, nothing to do, and of course today I had work, so it would have been nice if this news came out another day. I actually had a dream 3 nights ago or so where... I thought, you know, Killer Instinct might get announced, and for some reason I had a dream it did, and I even woke up thinking, like, wait, was that real or not? And sure enough, it wasn't real. But now it's real. I'm not even that surprised that they announced it. Really quick, guys, one last thing I want to point out about this cabinet, and it's bothering me, because my cabinet's actually this way. The art from Escape Pod cuts off this pointy tip on Spinal's shield, and if you look at the cabinet, you can actually see it's like a straight point where you could stab somebody with it, and I don't know how this happened where it cuts it off, but I'm going to probably mention that to them also if asked for my advice, which would be nice. I don't know why it's not pointy. I'm sure they could fix that because now they're working with Microsoft. Microsoft probably has high-res files of this to deal with, so that should be pretty darn cool. Oh, Chad R, the Ultra 64 intro is going to change. I know, and I did talk about this earlier. Ooh, and I see another question from Red Sea Gaming. I did talk about this earlier. It's definitely going to change. Unless John D is like a master. I think he's the guy responsible for getting new licenses. If he's some kind of master at like working between 2 companies, which is just highly unlikely. But yeah, unfortunately we're going to lose the Ultra 64 teaser, which... I mean, that's one of the coolest things that's ever been in an arcade attract mode, I think, especially in '94 because it was full motion video. And at that time, MK2 looked good, and that's what was the main game everyone was playing. But then this thing comes out and looks like it's from 2000. I mean, it blew me away. And I remember that thing screaming at me that it was coming, and I was like, how is this going to be at home? This game looks so unbelievable. How on earth are we going to have this on a console? And sure enough, we never did. We had it on SNES, and there was no Ultra 64 at the time. So, Red Sea had a good question. Besides upgrading the controls, will you mod the cab? I don't think I will, because the main reason I would get this cabinet is for the shape, of course, which, nothing to mod there, but the online play. I mean, I've already had several people say they're excited to play against me, because you guys have watched me on live streams play this game for probably 200 hours by now. Live streams, I don't know, maybe I'm exaggerating. And all I'm doing is playing against the AI. I would love to play against some real players. And boy, if you guys better watch out if this game releases in Mexico, because those guys are serious KI players, and we're all going to get destroyed. But I think if it just comes out in the US, I know there's better players than me, but I think I stand a chance of being in the top 20 on the leaderboards, and I'm going to fight for that. I mean, it's going to be exciting. I can't wait to play against you guys, and don't worry if you guys aren't that good. I just see John Doe's miss. What if I destroy you? Will you be mad? Please don't be mad. I will take it easy. I don't play cheap, I don't think, so. And to be honest, I haven't played competitively KI since the Xbox One version was out. And even then, that's kind of died down. And I was on the leaderboards there. I hit a max rank and all that. But I've fallen off because I just don't play it that much. So it'd be exciting to play against you guys. And Tony, I will go easy on you noobs. And I even have, I'm going to start making more combo tutorials for Killer Instinct, especially now that this is coming out. I show you guys in great detail on the channel how to do Orchid's 48-hit Ultra Combo, which is the highest you can get without getting too glitchy. So go check that out if you want to know how to do that. I'm sorry if I'm missing any more questions. It's hard to look back and forth. Am I getting pinball? I'm still wanting to get the Star Wars pinball for my wife and for me because I do want to check it out, but we'll see. Once again, running low on space. That's a big problem. Alejandro, in the community... Oh, hold on. In the community, did you want us to refer to you only by your channel or your name and channel? I mean, you could say Chris from Killer Arcade Games, but you can even tag me if you know my name on Facebook, which is... I guess I'll just throw it out there. Chris Bizzell. I mean, Bizzelle. A lot of people say Bizzle, which is great. Thanks, Snoop Dogg. Really made that fun. I'm glad I wasn't in high school when that came out. And or Bizzelli, but whatever. You can just tag me if you'd like and all that. I don't use my Facebook much. I know people try to friend me on there. So don't be offended if I don't add you. It's not because I don't like you. I just don't use it. I genuinely hate being on Facebook unless I'm on the groups, and that's it. So you're not missing anything by being my friend. But if you want to, send me a message or whatever, that's fine. You can even try to add me and whatever. We'll see. Fashizzle. Yeah, Fashizzle Bizzle. It's been a lot of fun. Everyone does the Snoop Dogg reference with the last name when they get it wrong. Brendan, you still want me to teach Saberwolf's Ultra? I can do that. I need to make a note about that really quick because that's one I can definitely do. TJ Combo, I can. It's just so hard to put all that into words. There's so many different moves you have to do, and I'm going to try to figure that out. What else? I'm very excited right now. My voice is kind of going, but I've never had so many people in a live stream. But of course, my channel is basically half Killer Instinct. I mean, the name is named after Killer Instinct. The font is Killer Instinct. I love the game. Always have. How do I celebrate Outrun? I don't know. I don't have Outrun. I don't plan to get Outrun because that game was kind of... I mean, I did play that one a little bit in the movie theater when I was really little, and I was just kind of like, oh, this looks fun. And I remember the wheel would shake violently back and forth, and I was very young, so it just kind of like... I was already kind of hanging from it. It felt like I was like a monkey hanging off the bar. Frayhem, if TJ Combo and Jax in Mortal Kombat would get in a fight, who would win? It's a good question. Jax can turn into a giant and step on him, or TJ Combo, which I think has bigger muscles. I don't know. I'd say if this is very nerdy, I guess, but I'd say if Combo got into a battle with TJ Combo or Jax, if Combo started going into a combo, I don't think Jax could do much about it. But then again, he could rip his arms off. Who knows? Chad R, would you do tutorials on characters? Would be cool. One video per character. I possibly could. I could play with just about any character to a very certain extent. I mean, I'd say I'm very good with Saberwolf, with TJ Combo, and Orchid. After that, it starts getting more like, okay, I can do okay with Glacius. I can do some stuff with... Competitively, I'm not that good with Glacius, Jago, and all those guys down the line. My hardest characters to play as are Spinal. He's got a complicated combo system. It's very difficult to say who else on. I mean, maybe some Cinder. I can maybe do a little Cinder. But there's just those characters like Fulgore I'm not that good with. But maybe I could give you guys, if I want to do it, I don't want to waste your time. So maybe I'll do it with characters I'm very familiar with. AI, $10 super chat. Thank you very much for that. Here's $10 for your efforts and awesome videos. Now look directly at the camera and tell me you love me. I love you, AI. I think we had this conversation before. I don't know. Maybe I'm... okay, El Chino. Price? No price yet. I'm estimating $500 to $550. That's what I'm estimating. I have no idea. Saberwolf or GTFO, Crafty. I love Saberwolf. So he's a very... You guys might get annoyed with me if you fight me online with Saberwolf because he has a long reach with that low punch, and I use that a lot against the AI. I shouldn't be giving away my tips here, but yeah, if you're holed up and you're trying to crouch a lot and stay away from me, I can still reach you at a distance. TJ Combo was first. I don't know what that means. Alright, well I'm going to start wrapping it up here because there's only 2 minutes before it's been an hour, and I think my dinner is almost ready. Opie's going to crush me. We'll see, Opie. This is the exciting thing, though, because now we can find out. And if you beat me, I don't care. I mean, that's cool, because I can try to get better and beat more people. I'm really only good at fighting the AI. I can say that currently. But who knows? I entered a few tournaments when I was a kid and usually got beat pretty bad, but I was like 11, 12 years old. And these guys were like full-grown adults, so they were much better at the time. Alright, hopefully these new cabs will release around the April time frame. Shardio. I think that's Shardio. Maybe, but I think Killer Instinct's going to be down the line and all that. Oh! So, okay, that's my dinner right there being talked about. Pot pies. Homemade pot pies. We had yesterday and now it's leftover time. You got to have like some warm comfort food when it's so cold outside. I mean, it's cold for Texas. 41, it's going to be 27 tonight. That's really cold for us. Oh, okay, good question. Excuse me, Tony G. Any of the other cabs announced interest me? Let me switch since you guys have been just looking at this screen forever. I'm always interested when they actually do a good job at making them look like the real thing. Again, I've never really played Dragon's Lair. I've never played Space Ace. Never even seen that one. But I would, say if they were on sale and I had the room, I would definitely consider checking them out just because I like the look of them in general. If someone was giving me one for free, I'd certainly love to try it out, but I can't see taking up more space that I don't have. Say I had unlimited space, I might consider a Dragon's Lair if it was on sale. Just like if it was a deal I couldn't turn down, yeah. X-Men, I think that's a fun game to play with people who aren't real deep into arcade gaming. Like my wife and I could sit down and play that. She likes X-Men stuff, the movies at least, and maybe she would play a little of that with me, but I don't see myself playing those beat-em-ups for more than maybe 5 times all the way through, and then you're just kind of, what do you do with it after that? If you're a hardcore beat-em-up fan, then sure, you probably want to play it all the time. I just don't have interest in these older cabinets, these two right here, just because they're before my time. I can appreciate the games, but I couldn't see playing them more than a couple times a piece. And then, other than that, they would just be for looks at that point. Street Fighter 2, I'm horrible at Street Fighter games, especially those older games. If they give you an option to lower the difficulty this time, maybe. Maybe on those. Pong, I unless I had like some home bar, which I'm not a big drinker, I don't think I'd ever buy that. I'm sure some of you guys would love it here. I have considered the Buck Hunter, but since I built my Carnival cabinet, and I'm sure some of you guys are new to the channel right now, so I built a widescreen, a 32-inch monitor version of an Arcade1Up. So go check out the channel and you'll see that. That one really got a lot of interest from people. I was kind of surprised. Okay. I still think... Someone say chicken pot pie? D the Thunder Herd. Wow. Can't believe I got that. Patrick. Sorry, is it easy to fix an Arcade1Up stick if backwards doesn't work? Whoa. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Okay. I don't know much about the Arcade1Up sticks, Patrick. Pretty much anytime I get an Arcade1Up, it gets modded almost immediately. I have a few of them lying around here somewhere. In fact, somebody wants to buy my Final Fight hardware. We'll see. I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't even know if I have a complete set to sell this guy, or even send it to him cheap because I don't have any use for it. But yeah, I just don't know. I have never changed the springs. I know it's possible. I know you can even change the gate underneath, where you take that plastic piece off and put an 8-way instead of a 4-way. I gotta say one thing: if they put 4-way gates on these Killer Instincts, I'm gonna be highly disappointed. So they've gotta. They probably know better by now, though. Brendan says Tempest looks the most accurate. Yeah. Frank, you want Double Dragon or a Shmup Cab? Double Dragon is rumored to be on the KI. I don't think it's going to happen from what I saw earlier, but who knows? Now, they did say they might add more games to it. I would assume it's going to be somewhere in the somehow Microsoft-owned world, and I don't know too many arcade games that Microsoft owns that would work with the KI cabinet. 19K Fox. What do I think it'll cost? $399 plus riser. I'm thinking this new hardware that they're putting in these cabinets is expensive. That's why you see it in the new Outrun cabinet and the Buck Hunter cabinet. Now those also have a lot more cabinet to them. You know, more things like guns and a seat. I'm still thinking we're going to pay $500 minimum for the Killer Instinct, which I still think is pretty fair because the amount of money I spent to mod this, say if I was going to make one of these from scratch using a $300 cabinet off the shelf, you're looking at about $1,000 in parts. So you're getting a pretty decent deal there if you don't want to go crazy and put hapsticks, you don't want to add a PC to it and all that. If you don't have the know-how and you're not willing to use my video to do it, this may be a really good option for you. I keep saying I'm going to wrap this up. I swear I'm going to wrap it up in a minute here, but a lot of good stuff coming in. I like asking questions or answering questions. Wilson Singleton, I change all the springs in my Arcade1Ups. Always put in 4-pound springs. Very easy to change out. Okay, whoever asked me about the springs earlier, I've already lost the name. I'm sorry. Maybe talk to Wilson because I have no experience doing it. It sounds easy to do, but I just don't have any experience. I'm sorry. Patrick, thank you for answering. I'm gonna dig. Oh, Patrick, spring guy, right there. Maybe talk to Wilson, Patrick. He might be able to help you. Or you can always email me. My email is in the About section on my page. Red Sea Gaming, did you see John D tease bonus games other than Double Dragon, most possibly Cruisin'? I assumed he was joking because how on earth are you going to play Cruisin'? I've played racing games with a joystick. I played Hydro Thunder on this very cabinet. It wasn't very fun. It's not a good experience. Now that doesn't mean, that could mean, I don't know who owns Cruisin'. I think Nintendo still owns Cruisin', so we may never see Cruisin'. The reason I think they still own it is the Cruisin' Blast arcade cabinet that's out currently has Nintendo logos all over it. So I don't think Microsoft owns it, so I don't think it's going to happen. Isn't Dead or Alive Microsoft? I genuinely don't know, Frank. So I would Google it, but we're streaming, and I've actually got 2 laptops running to make the stream happen, so I just don't know. John Doe, if Buck Hunter was $500, the KO would be $299 or $399. Buck Hunter was actually $550. And I still think we're looking at $500. I'd love it to be maybe $399, but I'm not going to be upset if it's $500. But $399 would be great, especially if I can consider buying one to give away. So that would be really helpful. Did you get the Billy Idol reference in Killer Instinct? Hezekiah George. I'm not sure I know what you're talking about. Billy Idol reference in Killer Instinct. I don't know. Maybe I've heard this before and I'm not putting it all together. Red Sea Gaming, what games do you think would possibly be bonus games for this one from Rare? I've been trying to think all day, like, what arcade games did Rare release? Now, we may have to just Google that really quick. Arcade. I don't even know if this is going to work out, because it's going to pull up Rare arcade games. Yeah, 6 Rare arcade games. Rare Company. Let's see what Rare has made, and I'm cutting off some of the screen, but... Well, let's start with this one. Partnership with... I mean, that's going to be SNES stuff, though. Perfect Dark. Speedway US. Mickey's Speedway USA. Okay, I see that. I don't know of any other arcade game outside of Cruisin' that actually was made by Rare. Good question. Really don't know. Maybe they can just partner. Maybe they can not only partner with Microsoft, but with another company. Who knows? All right. Shardio subscribed. Thank you very much. Yes, so if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. This is going to be an exciting time. I can't wait to hopefully get my hands on a Killer Instinct cabinet early. We'll look at all the modding possibilities down the line, unless for some reason they tell me I can't talk about that. Who knows? But I would love to get one early, show you guys. I can't wait to look at the clearances on the cabinet deck for hap sticks. Usually have to modify the hap sticks to fit them in there. I'm thinking, what if they put those IL sticks, or ill sticks, whatever you want to call them, in here instead of the usual stuff? Those are a little more affordable, I think, but still, I just want hap. I still think hap is the better choice. By the way, one last thing I noticed, there's no Killer Instinct logo on the deck. Not logo like this, but the name Killer Instinct. And that's something I would like them to add to it. Again, this is probably an artist rendering. I don't even think, they may have the real thing built up somewhere. But maybe that's something that'll come later. It does look like they've added the up, down, left, right text on there and the button names, so that's good. Okay. Wilson, you're a new subscriber. Thank you, Wilson. I don't know why my alert box never works. My alert box is supposed to be popping up playing Killer Instinct sound effects while I stream. I need to look into why that never works out. Let's see. AI, should I buy an original Cruisin' USA cabinet? Oh, $450. If everything works on that, that's a deal. I mean, you got to think, I'm sure the board, if you go look up just the PCB alone, it's probably $200. So that's a decent deal. All right, I'm gonna start wrapping it up, guys. I went way longer than I expected. My voice is starting to go a little bit. Oh God, now I'm getting distracted. Frank, my only complaint about their cabs is the acrylic over the buttons and no marquee trim. I could see that. The acrylic does scratch easily. My Carnival cabinet's kind of scratched up already, the acrylic top. That's just for me. Before I had the holster attached to the cabinet, I would just rest the gun on it. In all the testing phases, I just keep putting it down there, and it's a little scratched up, but we'll see. Oh, man. Hopefully I'm alive when this new Killer Instinct comes out. AI estate sale. Wow. Tony G, enjoy the dinner. I will. I'm going to enjoy the dinner, and then I'm getting in the hot tub because it's so cold. I'm going to jump in my hot tub, and I'm going to watch TV and just relax. It's great when you get good news for the day and you get busy. It's fun, but I'm pretty wiped out, especially since I'm, congested and kind of tired from not sleeping well. So I'm very excited to relax. Mastermind, what kind of combo are you going to do on the pot pie? I was thinking of doing like a killer combo. Once I'm finished, maybe I'll scream out ultra combo. You never know. Get crazy. Okay. Opie, take care, man. Thanks again. Enjoy dinner. Opie, we are going to do battle on Killer Instinct. I remember you saying that. Don't think I forgot. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. If you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Please give this a thumbs up because I'm going to leave it up. I don't know how many people are going to watch later all the way to the end. If you did watch all the way to the end, leave me a comment and let me know. Let me know if you're watching this later. Let me know in the comments what you think about the new Killer Instinct. I'm really excited about this. And once again, let Arcade1Up know you want me to review and help them with this cabinet. Because, once again, I still think I'm the guy to do the job. I've been studying this game for 20 years probably by now. Emulation, I've been emulating it since the early 2000s. I've been figuring out what hardware works and what doesn't, what versions of MAME work and what doesn't. I know they're not using MAME, but still, I want to help with this thing. I want to make it as good as possible for you guys because they get one shot at this usually unless they do another re-release. But anyway, I'd also like to help test the online because the online is going to be very important. We don't want to have a bunch of lag, and I don't know if they'll ever tell me, but I'd love to hear who is hosting the online, Microsoft or Arcade1Up, or is it more of like a peer-to-peer thing? Who knows? Hot tub indoor. I'm not that rich, Alejandro. In fact, let me clear this up really quick because I don't want people thinking I'm a rich guy over here. My hot tub is what I call the hillbilly hot tub. It is a inflatable hot tub from Walmart, which I love, and I actually have a whole nother YouTube channel on that, but I only have like one video. But that one did very well too. It's funny. I make these one-off YouTube channels, and all of a sudden they do well. But anyway, It's just a little cheap hot tub you plug into a regular outlet. Takes forever to heat up when it's cold. Takes hours to get from like 99 degrees to 104, but still, I have a hot tub out back. That's good enough for me because I don't want a real hot tub. If I have a real hot tub, I'm in Texas. I can't use it 8 months out of the year. So I just put it in storage, pull it out the next year, plug in the inflator, and it's ready to go. If you're interested in that, by the way, it's the Coleman Salu Spa. I like that thing a lot. Okay. Oh, the wife's in here pimping out her pot pies. Let me tell you, I just had, I'm all wired up, by the way, because she made homemade hot chocolate. I'm not talking from a pack. Like, she took chocolate and other things, I don't pretend to know. She took chocolate, real chocolate, turned it into hot chocolate for me with homemade whipped cream and everything, which is partially why I'm so fat. So, there you go, there's that. But I was fat to begin with, so what are you going to do? Okay, I'm wrapping it up now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm sure we're going to have plenty more to talk about in the future. I'll probably be streaming again. Let's see, it's only Monday. I'll probably be streaming again maybe this week if some more news pops up, and if, at the very least this weekend we'll play some KI. We'll nerd out and talk about more KI stuff coming in the future. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video or stream.